and gentlemen, welcome to another episode of Horseshoes and Hand Grenades, the show that brings you the latest and greatest and uncrazy news from all over the planet, the show that sometimes shows up and sometimes doesn't. You're looking at your phone and you're like, I thought I was going to get astonishing, crazy, wild news this week, and it's like, nay, you're not going to get wild news. You're going to have to listen to somebody else, and you're like, oh, I'm so disappointed in myself and life and everything, and then we show up one week and you're like, ah, my joy is renewed. I can now put on my underwear and walk outside and enjoy and have a good time and eat Cheetos, and we're going to have a wonderful day. And it's like, oh man, I can't believe I went so long without any weird news and stories from Ashley and Steven. But now, my friends, you're going to get it, and you're going to get it good, and we're going to give it to you the way you always wanted it. I'm your host, Steven, joined as always by the amazing, the wonderful, the Smashly, to my stage left, to my stage.
With consent.
Well, yes,
consent.
we will.
You will
consent. They have to download it, so therefore consent. Right?
Huh.
Now those computers at
you're in
Best
the car
Buy
with
back
your
in
mom,
2008.
And your mom's playing it in the vehicle.
That was
bad. You have
bad.
to listen to it.
Then you're not consenting, but then no one cares because your mom can tell you.
So Steven earlier sent me the trailer to Uncharted. Uncharted.
Yes.
Oh my god, I didn't sleep, so my ADHD is like, bah! Anyway, Uncharted. And I watched it right before we started this because that's literally the only time today I've had a chance to watch it. Thoughts?
You have them?
What are your thoughts?
So, do you want to hear my thoughts? So Uncharted is a video game, very popular for those video gamers. It's very Indiana Jonesy. It's probably the most modern Indiana Jones you're ever going to get in a video game. And 10 years ago, they decided to make a movie, and they finally made one. So there's your background. I've been excited for this for years because I'm an adventure fan. I'm a fan of people diehard type adventures where people fall off trucks and then they get dragged and then they punch Nazis. That's just kind of my genre.
It's a good genre.
I'm real excited, and I told the internet that I was really excited, and I looked at the internet's comments, and the internet is not excited. The internet was like, no, you're wrong. And I'm like, well, I like to like things, so internet can shove it up their butts, because I'm having a good time imagining falling out of airplanes and punching people and stuff. Okay, now you go, because I'm sure that we landed on different sides of this coin.
Shocking.
Yeah.
Same level of excitement going in, especially because Steven seemed excited when he sent it to me.
Yeah.
So, okay, in the small amount of footage that they gave us, they zoomed in on his necklace 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Which is important in the video game over the 4 games that they give us, but you don't see it in the video game as much as they showed it to you as in a trailer. Like, okay, so they're gonna shove some stuff down our throat a little. That's fine.
Sure.
And then, Nathan looks like he's a zygote. I don't know that he's mated with the sperm and the egg yet.
Yeah. 25-year-old man looks like high schooler. Got it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, to be fair, we've been looking at him as a high schooler for years.
Very true.
So that may be something.
I'm real excited.
I'm excited to watch it, but I'm not going to be too excited because I'm afraid if I get excited, I will be even more let down. It looks like it could be a letdown.
I am on a different side of this coin, but I like to like the movies that I want to go see. So I walk in going, wee, and then I watch it, and everybody's like, that was just popcorn Saturday dumbness. And I'm like, wee, that was fun to watch. Because I'm not like...
The Meg
I don't have my monocle
is one
on.
of the bestest movies ever. And it was
Wait,
a popcorn movie. You hated The Meg.
Yeah, I probably did. Me and you don't have the same movie taste. There's like
that was a popcorn movie.
We're a Venn diagram. Like in the middle is James Bond and Train to Busan, and then outside of then we're on different planes because you're over here with Resident Evil and stuff. And
that
you
was
and Stephanie,
a good popcorn movie. The CG was balls.
It wasn't the CG I had
I'm
an
afraid
issue
the
with.
CG in this is going to be balls because I saw him falling out of the plane. And I'm like,
I
strap
don't
a
care.
Spidey suit to you, and not much different than the video game.
I will take.
How about this? It
falling
looked
out of an
like
airplane.
I'm excited, but I'm not going to be because I don't want to get my feelings crushed. Because I feel like
You
the
don't
last
have
18
to
months
be
have just been
excited.
me getting my feelings crushed.
You don't have to be excited.
I'm really trying not to think about the Bond movie because I don't want to get my feelings hurt on the Bond movie.
You know what? You got to go see movies when it's the right time to see a movie. Speaking of, let's get off Uncharted because clearly we're not on the same page there, and it's more fun to be on the same page. Let's talk about Batman. Yeah. Let's talk about Batman.
Okay, now that I'm gonna die.
Okay, see,
that was fantastic.
Real excited for the Batman, and I'm real excited for the Batman for a few reasons. I really like Robert Pattinson. I know he's like Twilight guy, but he's done a lot of weird different stuff since then. He was pretty great in Tenet. I liked him in that.
Tenet was I didn't even realize it was him. I'm just like, you have fixed everything about every brain cell in mine linking you to Twilight with this movie.
Yeah, you got your like, okay, you're Cedric Diggory, and then you disappeared for a while, and then you're in Tenet. That's pretty great. Yes. We don't need to worry about Twilight. I have read all 4 Twilight books. I read all 4 of those books, just so everyone knows. I'm speaking from experience. I don't know how I got through them. It was real lonely in West Virginia with no job there for a minute.
We chunks of the last book. Like, we would
That's
just
true.
flip 10 pages at a time, and we were like, I still know exactly where I am because nothing's happened.
Yeah. Jesse, I read them because I didn't have a job, and I was laying on my fiance's couch waiting for someone to call me to say, hey, you're hired. And the books were laying there, and then they got read because
Steven was the one who told me to read it. They were written well, though. They were well-written nothing. Yeah,
they were well-written pieces of garbage.
Yes.
Okay, so I did get through that when I couldn't finish Aragon. So
right.
I mean, it is what it is. I read it.
Aragon's
I'm not ashamed
plot
of it.
Was cool. The writing was not.
Yeah,
Twilight was the exact opposite. The writing was cool. The plot was not.
Yeah, it was dark and brooding. No, I didn't finish Minstrel Mini. Me and you, Aragon. I've been on this show for 15 years, and I've had some discussions about Aragon. We can talk about it. We can talk about it if you want, but we could also talk about flipping Batman because I'm really excited about that. And Batman 2. They debuted 2 trailers. I thought this was really funny. So the day over the weekend was over the weekend was DC Fandom, where they were like, look at all the movies we're making. And they showed off the Batman trailer, and we all pooped. And then they showed off a Flash trailer, which featured mostly Batman. And I'm like, so the Flash... okay, so the Flash trailer is going to be mostly Batman, which I thought was pretty great. Because it was like Michael Keaton voiceover, random pictures of Ezra Miller as the Flash, and then Michael Keaton Batsuit, Michael Keaton Batcave, Michael Keaton. Oh, the title is The Flash. That's weird because all I saw this whole time was Batman Returns 3. It's like it was Batman 3 that we deserved and didn't get.
Wait, so how do you have Keaton Batman in the Flash?
Because the Flash is going to run through the multiverse. So Marvel is over here going, Scarlet Witch is diddling space-time, and that's making multiverses. And then DC's over here like, well, the Flash ran through space-time. There's our multiverse. Take that, everybody. So now everybody's got multiverses. And then one day there's going to be like, a T-Rex will run through, and they'll be like, Jurassic Park multiverse. And Chris Pratt will be chasing it, and then Chris Pratt will meet the Guardians of the Galaxy Chris Pratt and be like, I know you. And it's like, I fight dinosaurs. And they'll be like, I fight aliens. And then it's going to be wild. It's going to be wild. And then Star Wars, it's like the Millennium Falcon's going to crash through both Marvel and DC, and they'll be like the Megaverse. And AMC Theaters presents Megaverse, the greatest crossover in Disney history, because all these things belong to Disney.
Can it be the Negaverse and be a Sailor Moon movie?
That would be.
It's not the Mega, cool. It's the Nega.
Can Tuxedo Dan show up and be like?
Tuxedo Dan?
Is his name Tuxedo Dan?
Tuxedo Mask.
Oh yeah. Because that makes sense.
Tuxedo Mask, because it was the very Japanese thing of going, he's wearing a tuxedo and a mask.
Oh,
He is
look
tuxedo
out.
mask.
Look out, everybody. I did go downstairs one day and Stephanie was watching some Sailor Moon. I was like, good for you. That, and she watched some True Beauty on Netflix. She's gotten really into.
So like you can get, so we're reading the webcomic, right? And like the True Beauty like TV show's already wrapped up. But like you have to pay for the Korean app to watch it on, but you can get a free week. So Stephanie just binged all of the episodes in that week.
Holy moly. Okay.
And I can't do that. So I'm like, I'm not gonna pay for like 6 months of something to watch like the one like Korean rom-com I want to watch. So I'm just waiting until I'm like, I have a week of time to binge watch a show. So I'll be 92. When did children let you do things? Never.
I'm able to do a lot of things now. I'm able to do a lot of things now. He goes to school. I mean, I have to work while he's at school, which is a bummer. But he does let you do stuff.
I was gonna say, he's actually whole. He goes to school and comes back, and you're still working.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's also true. And then he comes in. He's really into Metroid right now because we got Metroid Dread, which I've been streaming occasionally because it's really super
Does he hum
fun.
the music?
Super fun. Yeah, he hums the music, and he wants all the Metroid Dread or Metroid games ever. So I've been getting some ROMs because I totally got Metroid games in my closet. I'm an old vintage collector, so I download these ROMs. And he's like, Metroid. Then he's like, can we cheat and get all the stuff? And I'm like, yes. So I load the Game Shark codes or Game Genie codes or whatever. He gets all the stuff, and then it breaks because there's stuff you're not supposed to have early, and then things don't work right. And he's like, I want the different suit. And I'm like, I don't know how to get the different suit. So I'm back doing that thing that I was doing with what other game did he want everything from? Smash Brothers.
All of them.
Hacked the Wii and the Switch and all that stuff. So I'm back in that realm again somehow for games he plays like 5 minutes of, then he switches to a different one. It's all over the place.
Castlevania. I'm with Sub. Get him on Castlevania.
Yeah, I've heard we should do that. We have it. I haven't got him to play it. I have a hard time playing old games now. Like it's kind of, after playing Metroid Dread, you go back and try to play old Metroid. It's a different experience. Metroid Dread's flipping. I've always started three different games on that. I played it with Sam. I'm playing it on stream, and I'm playing it for 100% by myself when I'm bored. It's awesome. It's like
I can't even finish a game.
Well, you'll get there. I remember when Sam was your little dude's age, and it was like I stayed up till 11:30 playing The Witcher 3 because it was the only time you could play. It was like after he went to bed. It's like 9:30. But he finally falls asleep. I'm like, I am going to play this game. It took me 3 or 4 months to get through The Witcher 3. Just playing
you cheat
way
yourself
more
of
than I
sleep.
should have.
You either get no sleep or you get no downtime.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. You're gonna steal that time from somewhere. They only make 24 hours in a day. And you're going to put that somewhere.
So I actually reached out. HG recommended BetterHelp, and like therapists of all kinds are swamped right now because, the last 18 months have not been great for most people. So I'm like, okay, like I need, my executive function is crap. My emotional regulation is crap. I'm not sleeping. Like I need some cognitive behavioral therapy to help me. I need some tools in my toolbox to get through my day without being a rage monster sometimes. So I reached out to somebody and we chit-chatted. I set up an appointment. And so it was 8 a.m., which sucked. But I mean, I was up because that's what you do.
That's
you
life.
Wake up early.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? And we started chit-chatting. And she was so dead tired. You could tell she was tired. And I'm like, okay. So I'm like, I'll make a note next time not to make it this early. Because I've been up for an hour and a half. She rolled out of bed and turned on Zoom. Cool.
Hair's like over here. So
her eyes literally weren't open, and she did the thing. She's like, "Okay, you've got an 18-month-old? Yes. And you said he's 18 months, so it was that kind of thing. So that was already like wrong-footedness for me, because I mean I like to chat, man. Like,
sure.
Just like do human. So then it proceeds to become like an hour long. Because she asked me, she's like, well, why aren't you sleeping? I'm like, because I have an 18-month-old. And she's like, well, 18 months? He should be sleeping through the night. And like, statistically, no, he shouldn't be. Like, huge statistically, no,
Mine
he shouldn't be.
didn't.
But I'm like,
Till he was 5.
nobody's does. Nobody's does. That's why people make so much bank, like with their sleep training bullshit, because you have to do it over and over and over and over again because it doesn't fucking work. Anyway, so I was like, no, he just, and I was like, and I nurse too, so I sleep with him because he nurses through the night. And she goes, he's 18 months old? I'm like, yeah, please. That's what I said. She's like, well, I'm assuming you went to your pediatrician for his 18-month-old well check. And I'm like, I did. They're like, now, what did they say about you still nursing and sleeping with him? I'm like, they gave me a fucking congratulatory shirt that said he's been fed with liquid gold. And they told me to continue doing what I was doing because he was great. Are you being judgmental, you fuckbag? Like, this is a therapy session. She spent 45 minutes railing me about me sleeping with my child and nursing. I was so pissed, Steven. I'm still pissed. I'm still pissed that was that yesterday?
No, that was
What
Monday.
day is it?
Or Tuesday.
It was Wednesday. It was
Wednesday.
fucking yesterday.
It was
Feels like
yesterday.
it's been a year and a half.
What? It feels like so long ago. Is it really yesterday? Oh my gosh.
Yesterday was Wednesday because today is Thursday.
Because I saw your tweet, so I was like, surely it was. Wait, I was sitting at my desk when I saw that tweet. Oh, it was a work day. Oh, it was Wednesday. Holy moly.
It was so, I'm like, and I'm trying to I'm like, okay, I get defensive, I get mad. That's why I'm like talking to somebody. So let's take a step back and hear. But it was like everything she did would come back to that. She's like, well, like you worry about suffocating him. And I'm like, no, I fucking don't. Like I'm a nursing mother. I'm not on any drugs and I don't drink before I lay down. Like,
sounds like you might need to pitch for a different therapist who might listen differently.
I canceled my session with her.
Probably
and
smart.
I've reached out to a new one, and I have a new session next week with somebody.
I can't. I'm excited to see how your therapy works out for you. Or counseling. We'll call it counseling because you're fine. You're mostly fine. You just need someone to talk to. Because you have never, in your history of your life, all 12 to 15 years of it, whatever age you are now, have you ever listened to anyone for anything?
No.
And I'm like,
No.
You're going to go to these people, they're going to give you a toolbox, you'll be like, F you, I'm not doing that. That's not my thing. And then you're going to wait like a week, and you're going to swing around, and you're going to be like, yeah, I thought of that on my own. I'm totally doing that, but not because anybody asked me to. Nope. F therapy. That's my bet.
Shut up, Steven! You don't know me!
I would like to predict that every therapist, you're going to throw them in the trash because they give you tools to help you deal with how wrong you are, and you're not going to like it. Not in this scenario.
That wasn't even a tool. Right.
No, not
right.
in this scenario.
You're not wrong. But this one, I was like, but then she's like, well, you have to be really careful with children. And then she starts telling me she's like, well, how do you and your husband spend any time together? I'm like, we put William to sleep, and then we spend time together, and then we go to bed later. She's like, you leave him alone in the bed? Like, you leave him alone in the fucking crib? I'm like, it's a mattress on the floor. And then she starts telling me about she was trying to use her children as an analogy for what I shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And I was like, because she's like, well, mine broke his arm and put his teeth through his lip because he was jumping on the bed. And I'm like, we don't encourage jumping on furniture. He doesn't jump on the bed. He has a trampoline. And it's 12 inches off the floor because it's not on a frame.
And too, she's doing the thing where she's like, well, my child hurt himself. I'm like, yeah, good. All children hurt themselves. Yours just hurt themselves in a different way than my kid hurt himself. They all hurt themselves. Children are determined to just die. and your
That's what
big
I
job is to
said!
keep them from doing it as best you
She
can.
told me that like she let one of her kids like pour bleach in his eyes, and I'm like I don't like. Should you be giving me parenting advice after you just told me like all 3 of your children have been like in the hospital? Like, what are you? It was so
It's
frustrating.
so weird.
It was so frustrating because like I have done shit tons of reading and research and like staying up all night while I was nursing him, like when we had him in the crib. And finally I was like, look, like not to be offensive, but I think it's child abuse to leave a child screaming in another room so I can have my wine and bonbons. Like, I'm not gonna do it. There's no discussion.
There's no real way to discuss raising children with other people. I've determined this
No.
over the last 6 years. You can't do
Unless
it.
they are on the same wavelength as you. Like, you don't give advice to other parents because
Don't
they
do
don't
it.
want it.
No.
No,
They're going to
it's
say,
just,
F you, this is fine. It's working out. There's so many things we've done with this kid that sleeps over here that, like, people are like, you're crazy. You let, like, I've been in groups where I talk to people, and they're like, yeah, we don't let our kids do anything in the morning before school other than read. I'm like, well, one thing, my kid's not old enough to read, and two thing, I grew up watching Bobby's World before school, and I think I made it, so...
Bob's
we
World.
let him watch Storybots before school. They're like, you let your kid watch TV before school? I'm like, hey, watch his Storybots. You learn about how computers work on Storybots.
Stephanie
What
and
do
I
you
played
want?
Legend of Zelda before school every day.
I know. So there's like this high police thing, and then there's us. We're way too permissive. We're probably more permissive than we should be. But like teachers, we talk to his teachers, like, he's such a hard worker and he focuses so well and he's doing so good with his reading and he's really blossomed and his anxiety has been reduced. He gave up. He had this when he was going to school, when he was freaking out, they'd give him pipe cleaners to play with to kind of get his mind off of things before class. And he went to the teacher the other day, like last week, and he goes, I don't think I need these pipe cleaners anymore. You could give them to somebody else if they're having a problem. I'm like,
oh,
that's my kid.
Adorable.
That's my kid. He's doing fine, and we've done everything wrong. Everything.
See, that's like
wrong.
that's the thing that drives me nuts about our culture is
They're
like
humans, man.
It's like we are biologically engineered to do a certain thing, and everything in us has tried to like culturally push us away from that. Like, don't sleep with your babies, don't nurse your babies, don't talk about, but like, you know what I mean? Like,
Don't let your women have jobs.
well, yeah.
I
mean,
what that's all
obviously. Who's
the
going to raise the
1950s was
children?
jacked. Who's going to teach the children?
Yeah. But it's just so there's I feel like there's a difference between like cuz like William doesn't watch TV. He doesn't get screen time. He doesn't, and that's just it's fine. Like it's a little harder.
Sure.
But I mean, if he goes to somebody's house and they're watching TV, I don't lose my mind about it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He's not going to break them.
Like, I don't tell people. I just, like, I'll either try to excuse us from the situation and we'll go outside and play, but it's not like... I think it's the self-righteous parenting things.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. I'm done.
No, well, I mean, you're right. The parents are stupid if they're not you.
Everybody's stupid.
And they're difficult.
Everybody's dumb right
to
now.
work with. Yeah, I think I don't remember when I had that epiphany, but I was like, I'm never talking to anyone about how to do this ever again because it's just not productive, and I don't really agree with their methods. I had a particular situation that happened early in Sam, and I got raked over the coals for my behavior, and I was like, I'm not gonna leave him in a room. I'm not gonna leave him in a room by himself and cry. Like, I'm just not going to do it. But I mean, hey. You know what? Everybody who does it, some kids are going to grow up and be weirdos or normal or whatever.
Parents are preyed upon by people trying to make money, and it's almost as bad as people preying on like the elderly because parents are sleep deprived. They're desperate for any advice because our culture doesn't like you you'd have 50 aunts and 50 mothers and 50 cousins that could all give you immediate advice because they just went through it or they had tricks of the trade, right? But we don't have that now because we all move away from our family. Our family unit's much smaller. Like, so we don't have the help and we don't have the like cultural advice that we used to. So we reach out on the internet and it's shit. It's absolute shitty shit. Like, no scientific backing. It just got nothing to it other than like Brittany wanting to make a buck on the internet because she's real good at making her website pretty.
It doesn't take much. You know how many new self-help books come out that Target advertises? You need to be the best you. Because it feels good. It feels good for somebody
Live your best life, Jennifer.
There's a whole... If you can write anything, you're good. Oh, by the way, speaking of writing, I figured something out. So your dad... I give Stephanie and Ashley's dad books every now and then for him to read because he sits a lot and he needs to read. So I found a book called The Shadow that if you're a fan of old 1930s radio, it's an actual radio show, and they rebooted it. James Patterson, a famous author man, wrote a book called The Shadow about the shadow. And I'm like, oh, that's cool, because her dad is old enough to have listened to The Shadow when he was a kid on the radio. So I take this book to him. It's in large print, so he can read it easy and all this stuff. And he reads it in a day and a half. Chugs through it. And then he asks me 1,000 times if I've read it yet, and I say I just started the audiobook because I got it because I knew he was going to keep talking to me about it. And then he's like, wait till you hear what happens this time. Wait till you hear what happens. And he's so excited. I finished the book. It was fine. It was not great. Very little actually happened, but it was fine. And it brought me to this epiphany. James Patterson writes, 300 books a year? Something like that? Like 100 million books a year. No, Kelly would know. He writes at least 2 to 3. They're not. They're formulaic, man. Like you read a Patrick Rothfuss Name of the Wind, and you're like, man, poetry and poetry. Just
hey, is he ever going to finish that third one?
No, his editor's pretty sure he hasn't written a word of it. So we're just kidding, but it's fine, it's whatever. But anyway, that book is poetry. And then you read Joe Abercrombie, who releases like one book every couple years. You're like, these are pretty awesome. James Patterson is very, very formula. Like it wasn't impressive. Like some of those other books you read are impressive. And I'm like, I think I figured out these Danielle Steels and James Pattersons and all these.
But it makes them bank, though, right?
They make so much money.
Yeah.
They just turn out what they know. I'll just write the same story over and over again with different characters, different names, and slightly different
settings, different. Yeah.
Yeah, and I just rake in the dollars. Money. It really is. He's printing money. So I'm reading. I've decided that I don't need to be creative anymore. I'm just gonna start hacking away at writing.
Yeah, but I think you have to have a following for that to work.
What are these people? These are followings. Look, behold these people. They are the followings.
The followings.
They will buy my books and tell other people about my books.
There's a TV show. Shit. There is a house, like 4 houses down for you. That's coming on and I want it.
Go get it. It's coming on sale. I'm sure it'll sell for $480,000.
$460.
They listed it for $460? Holy moly. Holy moly. That's a lot more than we bought this house for. A lot.
Yeah.
This cannot sustain itself. Like, these people are going to be upside down. Anyone who buys a house right now in a year or two is going to be upside down. They're going to lose money. Because it can't sustain it. It's insane. It's insane. It's going to level out. You're going to be like, oh, this house I bought for $480,000. How much is it worth? $275?
Yeah.
Nuts.
Well, see, it just depends. Like some of Stephanie's realtor friends have been, will the swear jar be under 20 tonight? Can I vote now?
Well, it's too late. You already crossed the line.
Oh, poopy. I was going to vote and get easy bits.
Jesse's right. Google and Apple moving in are definitely going to be a big draw.
Yeah.
But I still think it's ballooned to unsustainable proportions.
It's been
in this area.
Been stupid for like the last several years. Like I don't know
Yeah.
what it's doing because the house we're in now would sell for quite a bit more than we bought it for, and like with the downstairs.
But where would you
unfinished.
move if you sold it? If you
To the house right down the street from you.
Okay.
We
Well,
would
yeah,
just
sure.
use the mad cash that we got for this house and spend mad cash on that house.
Well, there you go. That's what you have to do. You basically move for like. You know?
Jacob's like, I have been summoned. You are talking about monies? I am here.
I understand the financial markets. I'm here.
He's-
I don't like
So,
money.
okay,
I
so
think it's
Steven
stupid.
and I
hate it.
we can understand something, but we can't really
No.
explain it all that well. But Jacob, when he understands something, he can explain it really well. So he sits and talks about finance to me. I'm like, why didn't I have you in college for my econ classes? Or like, I don't know. Like, can you go to high school and teach children this? Because then
They might
we
know
might all
something.
not suck.
I don't really like money. I don't like that I have to think about it. It bothers me a lot. It's a lot of pressure. I try to give away a lot of it just so I don't have to think about it anymore. I'm like, I told Stephanie one day, I was like, look, if I see a GoFundMe for somebody I know, I'm just putting money in there. And she's like, that's fine. I'm like, I'm not going to tell you how much. I just need to do it because the American healthcare system is based off GoFundMe now. And I'm just done
It's so
with
bad.
I can't go down this road. Stop me. I can't go down this road.
yeah.
I've become a very angry
Do your best Irish
man.
accent.
Hi.
What the hell was that?
Get the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. That's not Irish. What is that?
You're a leprechaun.
They're always after me, Lucky Charms.
Every time he's Travis, I feel like I can hear him laughing. Like I can hear his response to that.
Oh,
I'm like,
snap.
quick, do your best Irish accent. Hi.
Oh, look at me. I'm an Irish person. Ho, ho, ho.
So I feel like once you start doing the R's in an Irish accent, it's so hard to stop. Like,
Yeah.
likety, like. I don't know why, but when Jacob's mom was here a month ago, they said something, and I accidentally said 30 really oddly. And they're like,
Yeah.
ha ha ha, you're Irish. So then I played into it, and I have not. I'm trying so hard not to do it right now. Like, it's even when I was like singing to the baby earlier, I couldn't stop the R's.
You
The
couldn't
R's
stop
are
the
so
R's.
easy. The R's.
Farty. Stephanie decided to tell Sam that Irish accents are a thing and that when they say 40, it sounds like farty. And so Sam will run around going, farty. I'm like, why did you do that? Why did you give him an out? Like, he can now just yell farts. He says it something like, Sam, you can say, fart's not a bad word. It just doesn't sound good coming from you because you're small. Like, just don't say it at school, okay? Just don't say fart at school because I don't want you to get in trouble.
Travis said that was a leprechaun that was hit by a bus. Stephen is subject said you've been banned from Ireland.
I'm not good at Irish. I'm not. I can only do fake accents that are weird blends of like something else. You know what? It's fine.
30 gallons.
Do voices, not accents. It's two different things. Let's do a factoid. This has been a long show already. What time is it?
Okay.
Some people who get bitten by the Lone Star tick can develop a sudden allergy to red meat. Beef, lamb, and pork, which are technically classified as red meat, can make people with this allergy experience headaches, sneezing, a runny nose, and nausea. In several cases, it can cause the person to be unable to breathe. For some sufferers, the allergy fades over time, but for others, it's permanent. That sounds horrible.
It's called the Lone Star tick.
The Lone Star tick, yeah.
I feel like that's kind of
it.
like a sarcastic, ironic. Like, haha, you're in Texas and you can't eat meat.
Oh, yeah. They have a lot of meat in Texas. You know? There's cows and stuff.
Kelly and Zafo aren't here to defend themselves.
They have a lot of meat. And everything over there is big in Texas. I don't want to go to Texas, I don't think.
30 pounds of meat.
They're kind of like the new Florida. Florida's been passing its reputation around like it's spreading like a disease. It went to Michigan, then it went to Texas. I mean, I don't know where it's going
I've got-
next. Could be
I've
us.
got buddies in Florida that I've been talking to, and I'm like, as a state, are y'all okay? Because
No.
I don't know that you are.
They're not. They're not okay. It's not an okay place to be. You know, it's fine. Everybody just goes off the rails from time to time. But anyway, world news. Well, it's finally happened. A New Zealand city has parted ways with its wizard.
What?
Christchurch has cast its official wizard from the payroll after 23 years of service. They've had a wizard for 20. Stop and think about that for a moment. Like, in my head, when I thought 23 years, I thought like 1970. But no, this wizard was put into position in 1998. Well after wizards were known to not be a thing that you could have that did
Wait. Wait. A church had a wizard on staff.
Christchurch, New Zealand, which is, funny enough,
Fuck
not
me
a church.
twice. Okay. Nope.
It's a city.
Nope. Didn't. I'm like, isn't that the opposite of a church? Okay.
No, Christchurch.
All I
New
heard was
Zealand
church.
If
New
New
Zealand.
if New Zealand guy still listens to this show, I need to know about this wizard thing. New Zealand guy, I know you're out there. This is a call to email me, hnhshow@gmail.com.
Wait, so
about the wizard.
it was a
A city
town wizard? Like,
Yes,
what
the
did,
town-
what did
yes.
the wizard do?
The town lived in a tower outside that had lots of heavy, dusty books he would open from time to time.
Like, did somebody accept the role as a wizard?
I bet I could learn a lot if I read the article.
Shut it.
Ian Brackenberry Chanel. I'm going to pronounce it Chanel because I get to read it, and I don't know what that is. He's 88. He was paid $16,000 of New Zealand money. That's $11,280 a year to provide acts of wizardry and promote the city. However, the city has now ended his contract, saying he's going in a more modern and diverse direction. Christchurch is the only city to have had an official wizard since 1982. Mr. Chanel told local media that he no longer fitted the vibes of the city because he was a provocateur. He probably did weird wizardy tricks with his wiener out in the streets. Probably what he means. I'm a provocateur. Like, what does that mean? They are a bunch of bureaucrats who have no imagination, he told the New Zealand news website. Since he started as the official wizard more than 2 decades ago, Mr. Chanel has been paid some $368,000 under a unique tax-free status. According to his website, he holds a New Zealand driving license under the name The Wizard. He's regarded as a tourist attraction for Christchurch, has performed rain dances in New Zealand and Australia during droughts, and was on the Queen's Birthday Honours list in 2009. He was prominent during protests against the demolition of heritage buildings following the 2011 Christchurch earthquakes. Mr. Chanel was even declared a living work of art by the New Zealand Art Gallery Directors Association in 1982. This guy's got some strong cred. You know?
What big balls that you would have to walk around going, well, yes, I'm a wizard.
Yeah.
I can prevent earthquakes and drought and keep
people
the
believe you and
virgins clean.
pay you for it. Send me your virgins and I shall prevent the earthquakes.
Like, can I see the contract that was worked up for this wizard?
I mean, it's got to be public record, right? Because it's a city position. Maybe you could find it out there.
You're a wizard.
We'll get right on that. He moved to Christchurch in the early 1970s, became a regular fixture in the city square where he would speak while standing high on a ladder dressed in his long cloak and pointed hat. The police tried to arrest him, but this enraged the public, and instead the square was made into a designated public speaking area. He just basically moved in, started yelling, and everyone liked it, so they told the police to go away. Let him shout. In 1990, the Prime Minister at the time, Mike Moore, asked that he urgently consider becoming New Zealand's official wizard. Mr. Moore wrote in a letter, "No doubt there will be implications in the area of spells, blessings, curses, and other supernatural matters that are beyond the competence of mere prime ministers." So Prime Minister wanted him to be the wizard because he thought he couldn't do wizardy things as well as this guy. That's impressive. I really like this story, and I would like to put my hat in the ring to become the wizard.
Literal fuck.
Do you think? So I'm running for HOA at in the neighborhood because I'm starting my political career. Should go well. Should I have put in my ballot like I want to be the neighborhood wizard? Like that would be real
I don't
cool.
see why not. If you walk in with this much like panache and just be like, wait, what did he say? What did he say about the?
Holy moly! Did you hear that? That was the wizard's website. I clicked it. Jesse sent the wizard's website, wizard.gin.nz. Introduction to the wizard's world. Oh man, this is great. He has quite the list of accomplishments. He's a living work of art. I say the same thing about myself.
I love the font.
It's very. I just made a website with Angel Fire. It's got that vibe. I'm just surprised my cursor doesn't turn into a unicorn when I go around.
And like leave the trails of flowers behind.
You remember that? Those were the good old days. You remember MySpace? Like there were some MySpaces your eyes would just bleed. It was like red backgrounds and blue.
Yes, like
everybody, the cool kids could do it.
Death in the Magus. What is the boojum? Hunting the boojum.
Sounds like some kind of under the bed
error 520.
Monster.
I will never know what hunting the boojum is because we have errored out.
Ashley Sub is trying to make me feel old again. Yell at him.
So we're all old.
Go get him. He says he doesn't remember the MySpace pages because he was born in the same year as MySpace. It's not fair.
Damn, son. Wait, your birthday's coming up here shortly.
We're supposed to take him to the red phone booth
the birthday where we're supposed to take you to get drunk, but
Yeah.
It's calmed down a little, right?
What, birthdays or getting drunk or the world?
We won't take you to Florida. Why does your site suck so much if you could prevent earthquakes?
I can prevent earthquakes, but I cannot modify my website to make it usable in the 21st century.
Use your $16,000 to hire a webmaster. God, so
hey, you want to, let's do the next story because it's already late. Small town news.
I wear really bright glasses. They shine up on my face. I move my tabs. Couple surprised at airport with stowaway luggage. They're Chihuahua.
Aw, that's amazing. Wait, really? He stowed away in their luggage on purpose?
No.
Think he did that on purpose? They put him in there? This seems
with
unlikely.
Names like Jared and Christy. When they checked their luggage in, they noticed it was a few pounds heavier, forcing them to pay extra for an overweight carry-on charge. How fat was this Chihuahua? They decided to do some reorganizing in order to redistribute the weight between their luggage when they were met with their adorable pooch snuggled up in their clothes.
Aw, that's cute.
Is it?
I mean, Chihuahuas can weigh a lot. I had a Chihuahua. He's fat. He's fat.
I loved that taco.
Fattest little dog.
More like burrito, am I right?
Yeah, more like, Qdoba burritos? Put a Chihuahua head and legs on that thing. And that's what my dog was.
Okay, so this is a cute little. It looks like one of those little deer Chihuahuas. They have names.
I can show the people. There he is. There's the Chihuahua. Audio listeners, I'm very sorry. You don't get to see.
It's a Chihuahua.
It's a Chihuahua, just like you would expect it to be.
It climbed into the dude's leather boot. That's funny.
This story. Oh, by the way, the previous story was brought to us by Hammer Dwarf. This story brought to us by one Kelly Lynn Colby.
Oh, nice. Thank you, Kelly. She does, what is it, Cute Animal Wednesday on Twitter?
Oh, yeah. She has a Twitter. Is today Wednesday? What's today? I was in the mountains this weekend. I don't know what days are anymore. Like between
you
the
guys,
year that
I heard you went hiking straight up without water.
It was the best. No, I had water. I took this. Do you think do I look like a crazy person? Do I look like somebody who walks out of the house without water? If I go on a walk and I don't take water, I will need it. And I have a little panic attack if I forget it. Never leave without water.
That's what I was thinking.
What?
Yeah, I don't like to not have water with me because it's a very visceral. Like, it was bad before I started nursing, but now that I'm I'm nursing, it's like worse. I'm like,
Yeah.
so when we go to parks, I always take this giant thing just in case the park doesn't have its own water, so I can fill up my other thing that I can carry with me easily. So the most weight I take anywhere is water.
Well, I mean,
Which
you
is
might get
dumb.
somewhere and not have it. The only water
I've
around
needed
is
it before, but it's,
Yeah.
I mean, I go to a park almost every day and I've only needed it like twice, but I've needed it and I've had it.
There you go. See, and if you didn't have it, you'd be like, oh, snap. I'm going to die. I need water
I'm
like
gonna
now.
jump into the turtle pond and drink turtle water.
I wouldn't do that. That turtle water, not a good move. They like poop in
pretty
there.
Gnarly.
Turtles are gross.
I would need a life straw to comfortably drink that water.
I had a turtle when I was a kid. It died. But I had one.
Somebody said something to me the other day while I was drinking water. I just spit water right in their face. I think it was maybe William. He did something. I spit water in somebody's face. I don't know.
That doesn't
All
surprise
blurs.
me very much.
It blurs.
I,
The end.
The end. The story. News better left untold. The story of my turtle is a story for another day. But animals die. I learned that at a young age.
Don't
Multiple animals that I know of that
Children
died.
Animals.
And I don't bond well with animals to this day because all my animals tended to die in different ways. Not because I did it, but just because they did. And that just doesn't work. You had a turtle since you were 4? Oh, you must know how to care for things.
Wait, is it still alive?
What, his turtle? Probably. Turtles live to be like 1 billion or something, right? Like, don't we
Teenage
really
Mutant
not
Ninja
know how
Turtle.
old turtles are? They have rings on them like a tree. You know? You're like, oh, look at this. They get crusty. They start
have
to look
to
like
get
petrified wood.
into that green stuff to get bigger. The ooze.
Oh, yeah. Oh, subject says it's still alive. Look, I can't be trusted with creatures.
Wait, so you
Not
just
when I was
have
a
like a
kiddo.
reptile in your reptile. You have a tarpon. What are they called? A terrapin?
Turtles are
A
cool, man.
tarpon?
They're good pets. They kind of just mind their business, and you feed them sometimes.
What the fuck is a turtle? A lizard? A reptile? Turtles are reptiles, right?
I don't know.
What the fuck?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I haven't slept in a long time.
What
it was
is
a full
turtle?
moon last night, Steven.
What is a turtle? Is turtle like
Wait,
a
are turtles
lizard?
turtles aren't amphibians. They have turtles. They're not amphibians. They're
Good Lord.
reptiles.
All I know is
Yes.
that's getting clipped for me for
Tarpon.
later.
It's a terrapin. A terrapin.
Tarpit.
Terrapin. Yes, terrapin. Terrapin turtle. Okay. See, I'm not as dumb as you all think I am.
We had
They're
a gopher
adorable.
turtle. We had a gopher turtle in my backyard in Florida, and man, when that thing dug, what dirt just went everywhere. You could see it off in the field. It just dirt flying out. Turtles can dig, man. Leave a turtle alone long enough. You want to break out of prison? Get yourself a turtle. They'll be gone. You just climb down in that hole and take off. Angry little suckers, though.
I'm gonna read about the difference between a terrapin versus a turtle.
Yeah, okay, do that instead of listening to me tell this story. Probably makes a good show. Police investigate local U.S. news channel for accidentally airing 13 seconds of porn in the weather report.
Whoopsie!
Up from the southeast, we have a warming trend. It'll be going right over this penis. Wait, what? Penis? Boy, your high-pressure zone really got going there for a second. Television station based in Washington accidentally aired 13 seconds of porn during a weather broadcast. Police are investigating the matter, although no one's been held responsible. According to the statement by the Spokane City Police Department, the department's Technical Assistance Response Unit and Special Victims Unit are investigating the cause of the explicit... What? Special Victims Unit? Like, isn't that the show, the Law and Order show, where
Rapey,
everybody's been... There's semen on everything? Like, in every episode?
Yes.
Just everywhere. Like, just...
I mean, I guess it could be
semen
super
on the
triggering
wall.
to see some sexy time.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, dude. You're sitting there eating dinner, watching the weather with your kids, and all of a sudden it's like, Debbie Does Dallas in the background. You're like, whoopsie. It seems bad. The incident took place at 6:30 p.m. weather. Yeah. I mean, that's going on. Meteorologist Michelle Boss seems unaware of the explicit clip airing behind her. She told viewers that the state would experience bonus days of hot weather with warm temperatures. No clue of what's happening. There's porn behind me.
I don't think they did either. I think that was the problem.
Well, who would? Yeah, I mean, you're not really expecting the porn. Like when you're walking down the street and somebody walks past you, but you don't see them because you just weren't expecting them to be there. That's what this is like. You weren't expecting porn in the weather report, so you just didn't see it.
No one expects the Spanish penis institution.
Have you ever seen? There's an attention study they did where it's like a scene of a basketball game. There's all these basketball players, and the whole goal is you look at the basketball game happening, and they say, "Hey, watch how many times the ball gets passed," and people are watching the basketball game go. And then at the end, they're like, "Well, how many times did the basketball pass?" And everybody can answer that question. They're like, "But who saw the gorilla?" And they're like, "Wait, what?" They're like, "Did anybody see the man in the gorilla suit walk through the basketball game?" They're like, "No." And they go replay the tape and they look for the gorilla, and the gorilla literally walks into half court and does a big dance while this basketball game is going on, and then leaves. But everyone was told to focus on the basketball, so they did not even see the gorilla anywhere. Human brains are so dumb. We just are so dumb. So the fact that this happened and the porn was up there for as long as it was does not shock me. Because people are watching the weather report. They're watching the green blobs and the blue blobs meet in the middle. And then they're like, where'd that fleshy blob come from?
And then they're
Holy
watching
crap.
the flesh blob and the other flesh blob meet in the middle.
Yeah, they're like, we better turn that off. But it happened. Same thing happened. There was a memory test where this lady comes in and she's like, mean and telling everybody to do all this stuff and everyone, and she ends up leaving because she's like, "Oh, I'm in the wrong class." And the teacher comes in and she's like, "That was an experiment, everybody." And they're like, "Wait, what?" And she's like, "Can you describe the lady?" And everyone describes a different lady. No one remembers what she looked like. They all are just so traumatized by how horrible she was that they didn't remember anything about her. What she looked like. It's real fascinating to look at how brains just ignore
important details. We did that in one of my law classes. They had somebody come in and steal sunglasses out of the professor's pocket. So everybody that we're staring at, and these classes aren't big.
Yeah.
We're staring at the prof. Dude comes in, takes the sunnies and leaves. And then he's like, "Okay, I need you guys were witnesses to this. I need something to give campus security." And nobody could tell them what the guy looked like because he just walked in like he belonged there, didn't trigger anything in anybody's brain, walked up, took the sunglasses and left. And then the prof's like, "He just stole those from me. I need to call campus security." And everybody's like, "It was a woman. She was 6'2" and she was wearing purple mascara."
You just start making stuff up. But that's what My Cousin Vinny was all about, the wonderful film of 1994, My Cousin Vinny, because it was all mistaken identity. Well, you should watch My Cousin.
Really?
No, I don't think you would like it. It was great. Marissa Tomei won a Best Actress or Best Supporting Actress for that movie. But good stuff. Because it was all like, "Oh, that person walked out. Totally. That person definitely is the person that did it." But they definitely weren't. But they were like, your brain fills in the gaps. It's like, that guy seems to be a person who would shoot a person.
Especially if somebody else says it. If somebody else says it first, then your brain goes, "Yeah, sure.
I will confirm.
We're social creatures. Yeah, sure. Stone that woman."
This is where the fear of being wrong really works, because I'm like, I am not committing to anything till I've looked at that 4 times. Or said yes and then go, wait. Let me go double check. Yeah, that's a condition that I do. I backtrack all the time. I know that surprises a lot of you. But it happens. I'm like, "Hey, I got this question. I figured this thing out." And then I'm like, "Wait, never mind. I didn't figure that out. I got to go back. This is my process. It's my process."
Let me make sure I figured it out. I haven't figured it out.
I haven't. You turned Irish again, by the way. Better Irish than I am. Anyway, what were we talking about?
Me Lucky Charms.
The channel later apologized for the gaffe at 11 p.m. the same day. Said they were diligently working to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. How much you want to bet somebody was watching some material on their phone and accidentally airplayed it to the TV in the background?
I did that when I was at your house once, and I'm like, oh my God, no.
You were watching materials in my house on my internet and almost sent it to my TV? Me and Stephanie would just be sitting there watching, like, whatever was on when you were living with us.
I was at your apartment, and I was screwing around with something, and somebody sent it to me. I'm like, what is this? And I wanted to put it up on the big TV like you showed me how to put it on the big TV, and I'm like, ah!
That's porn.
I'm like, oh my God, are they going to be able to know that this was on their TV?
There's plenty we could know, but we would never have confronted you about it because it would have been embarrassing.
I don't think it was actual porn.
It was maybe simulated porn, almost porn.
It was a video someone sent that was super inappropriate.
There's plenty of things that I've been a privy to in my existence on Earth that I've just decided to not worry about that and just leave it alone. So even if I did see the porn that you put on my TV, which I didn't, I would been like, well, I'm just gonna pretend that didn't happen.
Wait, would it have stayed on your television?
Probably not. Nah, it would have gone away. As soon as you stop sharing it from your phone, it would go away.
Okay.
I've read people doing that, like dying inside on Reddit or whatever, and they're like, so was watching some stuff and took my AirPods out and it flipped back to the house speakers when I was playing music downstairs while my family was having dinner. And they're like, whoops. So you just got to be careful with your technology, y'all. Don't let it get to you.
That's so good.
It's bad. Don't watch your porn on your connected devices. How about that? Get yourself a skiff. So like you can go sit in a skiff and turn a red light on and be like, it's a Faraday cage in here. Nothing goes in, nothing goes out. All this laptop does is porn. That's all it does. I haven't
watched porn in so long. I'm just like,
you got disinterested in everything. Like, done with this quality content.
Yeah.
At some point, just things going in and out of each other just is pretty much the same every which way you look.
Yeah.
I was thinking, though, with that skiff idea, you had the old black shoebox thing from back in the 80s where it's like, this is where all the Playboys are. Now it's like that you've got a Chromebook in a black shoebox with all the bookmarked websites.
In a silver shoebox.
In a silver shoebox and a little Chromebook, and it's got everything compartmentalized out in all the categories. Top 10 favorite videos, all in there. There's your future for you.
You thought about this way too much.
I literally just thought about it as we were discussing this when I was trying to determine the future. What does the future look like? Chromebooks full of porn and people eating popcorn. They should just do away with Facebook. Facebook should be... I've become quite the angry warrior for justice here lately. After I've read about friends of mine or people I know dealing with healthcare situations, I'm an angry man who just wants to make sure everyone gets taken care of in whatever way they need to get taken care of. And that's what I'm going to do.
Have you... Bye!
So I'm starting on my
left
HOA.
Facebook yet?
I can't because I'm campaigning with my HOA. My HOA there. That's where all the voters are. So I have to go there to tell them. It's real annoying. I told my buddy about it tonight because his wife is on the HOA. I was like, "Can I do it without Facebook?" He's like, "No, that's where all the people are. You got to do it. That's where they communicate." And I'm like, "You're right, but I hate it. But I need them to vote for me if I want to make a difference."
Can you have your own HOA Discord and invite everybody? Be like, hey, if you don't want bullcrappery.
Yeah, that would be useful. It'd be good to have a service that wasn't Facebook, but everybody it's like it's we've screwed ourselves up.
It's frustrating because there's a lot of times that I want to look something up or interact with the business, and they're like even the PCOS thing that I did for 10 weeks, like it was Facebook based, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna be missing out on half of this because I'm not getting on Facebook.
Yeah, message me on Facebook. I mean, that's how I figured out where to go for trivia night. It was, hey, where's trivia? Is Big Paul doing the stuff at the place? Yeah. I had to ask on Facebook.
It's dumb. They're buttholes. I hate them, and I hate what they stand for, and I hate what they do, and I hate their platform, and I just broke this shit. Whoops.
Speaking of hating things, WTF section. WTF. What did you do to the chat?
I don't know. I don't know what I did, but it just happened, and I didn't know how to stop it, so I pressed enter.
Okay, well, good for you. You did it. You broke the chat.
I don't.
This is the kind of quality
like,
you miss when you.
It just kept going. I didn't even press anything.
The keyboard is broken. Okay, McFly says your keyboard's broken, so it's okay.
Okay.
Children break things. That's children and smashies.
It was my child, not me.
Definitely.
Testicle bath.
Yeah,
let's get brightness.
Let's do it.
Testicle bath. Birth. Wait, what? Testicle bath birth control device earns Germany's Dyson prize.
Oh, that's cool. They have is Dyson German? I mean, that's cool. Didn't know that.
A German inventor's unique ultrasound testicle bath birth control for men took the top prize of the country's James Dyson Awards. Rebecca Weiss, an industrial design graduate from the University of Munich, an inventor of the COSO male birth control device, was named Germany's winner of the James Dyson Award, which celebrates, encourages, and inspires the designers of new problem-solving ideas. The COSO uses an ultrasound testicle bath, please say that one more time in quotes, to temporarily stop sperm mobility. The device only needs to be used every few months to keep the sperm inert and prevents eggs from being fertilized during sex. Weiss said the inspiration for the device. Steven's like, why didn't you tell me this a month ago?
You told me this a few months ago.
Said the inspiration for the device came after she was diagnosed with precursor cervical cancer, which has been tied to oral contraceptive pills. Being a woman is so fucking awesome. Yay! When my partner and I were looking for an alternative method, we became aware of the lack of male contraceptives. The problem is not unique to me personally. It affects many others as well, as made evident in the current growing public discussion about the lack of contraceptive alternatives. I really like this chick. Weiss said the lack of male birth control options led her to develop a new contraceptive approach for men in my master's thesis. She's hoping
awesome.
the Dyson Award. I know. She's shortlisted for the international award. That's super cool. I still don't understand what it does. Like, do you just boil your nuts?
Yeah, like I mean, they make your
Is
body makes
more
sperms. It makes a lot of sperms. And do you have to every time you release a batch, do you have to re-stun all of them? This is a nut stunner. The nut stunner coming to stores near you. You're looking through Hamish Schlemmer's magazine.
Like teabagging a cup of hot water. Hey baby, it's time.
I got it. I'm gonna put my my balls in the nut stunner. I'm gonna make this happen.
100% nut stunner.
It works. It's 60% of the time, every time.
All
Stun
the time.
These nuts.
Yeah, baby.
No one would use this problem. Men are idiots. We would be like, too excited. God, stun my nuts. God, stun my nuts. How long does it say you got to stun your nuts for? 5 minutes. Too long. Stun it for 30 seconds. Probably good enough. Bunch of idiots. Stone Cold Nut Stunner. Thank you, McFly. Can we please make that a show title? Don't let me forget.
That's the show
Stone
title.
Cold Nut Stunner. I mean, I'm all for dudes being responsible as well for not impregnating someone. That's really good. I'm obviously a big fan of it, having gone through another procedure a little bit ago. It's easy.
Permanent
dudes should
nut
take
stunning.
more responsibility. Yeah, it's permanent-ish, but you can always have them tied back together if you really decide, oh man, messed up, whoopsie, I don't really want to do that. I've now have one that's doesn't need nearly the like care that a small one
Starting
needs.
again would make you just jump off of something.
My parents did it. My sister's 6 years younger than me, but maybe they were crazy. Maybe they were crazy. By the way, my dad had knee surgery. I have to tell this story because
when
he
did
wants
he do that?
A week ago, Tuesday. We could go, yeah, October 12th. He had knee surgery because his knees are jacked because he just walking on concrete for 50 years.
In cowboy boots.
Yeah, so his knees are jacked. He had a real bad torn meniscus and some arthritis in there, so they were going in to fix it. So I went in, and they repaired the meniscus, and they repaired the arthritis, and they're like, okay, you're all fixed up. Now you need to go rest. And, I mean, you can put as much weight on it as you can tolerate. Those are the worst.
Did he go horseback riding that day?
Those are the worst words to tell someone like my dad, because my dad can tolerate a lot. And if he can tolerate it, he will keep moving. But this is how he messed up his knees to begin with. He doesn't know how to stop, and the doctor's like, you're old enough to slow down. You need to stop doing stuff like this because you're going to tear yourself up. And he's like, okay. So he goes to the doctor a day ago, and he texts me. He's like, doctor's mad at me, shaking her head, going, oh, no. He's like, I mean, my knee is swollen pretty good, like a cantaloupe. I'm like,
oh, Lord.
What have you done? And they're like, I got to go. He said the nurse said she had to go get the doctor to come back and look at his knee. So the doctor comes, he's like, they keep shaking their heads at me like I've done something horrible. They come in, they're like, what have you been doing? He's like, well, I threw some hay bales off the truck. I went horse riding on Friday.
Knew it. Like, I called it. I knew it.
He's like, I went to work. I walked around a bunch. You said I could do it if I could tolerate it. And they're like, you are supposed to be elevating your knee. What are you doing? So anyway, long story short, the doctor fussed at him and told him to relax. And we're like, there ain't no way that's going to happen because you haven't met this man. But anyway, props to my dad for being tough.
Sit your ass down, enjoy some grilled chicken, and watch some cowboy movies with your beautiful wife, because you don't need melon knees. You're gonna have to have surgery twice, and then they'll be like, sorry, you can't walk no more.
Yeah, he was like, I wasn't walking, the horse was. I figured it would be okay for it just to hang there. Like, no. But I
was
say
elevated
the doctors,
on top of a horse.
The doctors were not specific enough. You can't tell somebody whatever you can tolerate, but what you really mean is don't do anything and lay around until it heals. You know what I mean?
No, I totally. The second you said that, I'm like, he went horseback.
He rode
riding.
horses.
I know he did. Like,
Yep.
I know he did.
Well done. Well, there we go. And that's the end of the show, ladies and gentlemen. That's it for us tonight. We've had a wonderful one. It's always good to be back in the saddle.
Unless you're Tim.
Yeah, unless you're my dad. If you enjoyed the show, give us a review on your favorite podcasting service. Follow us on Twitter. I'm Steve H&H. Ashley is Fate Kills, P-H-A-T-E Kills. Join us on Patreon. Patreon.com/2dorks.
I have Halloween cards.
And Ashley has Halloween cards. Yay. So you might get presents. That's always good, right? And you can join our patrons, D.H. Dunn, Hammer Dwarf, Jesse Ogg, Adam and Christina of Geekheim, whose anniversary was yesterday. Happy anniversary, Adam and Christina of Geekheim. That's super cool. I should have said that at the top of the show, but hey, show's dedicated to you. Congrats. An Oddly Normal One, and our parents who are always supporting us. Join us on Discord. If you're not in there, you should be. It's a really good time. A bunch of fun people over there at twodorks.net/Discord. So good. So get in there, play with the cool people. Play with cool people? I don't know. That sounds weird. And anyway, we're going to leave you with these words of wisdom from Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. Knowing is not enough. We must apply. Willing is not enough. We must do. I feel like Jacob's trying to tell you and I something. Being that we are dreamers and not doers, we should probably do more stuff.
Look, if somebody backed us up with mad cash, we would dream up all the stuff and make them more mad cash. But right now,
yeah,
you need the dreamers and you need the doers that have the moneyers.
Mad cash. That's what I'm talking about. My money confuses me. I don't know how it works. I just know make it.
Well, you give Ashley a dedicated amount of time to make her app, and then money is made.
Okay, that sounds good. Go on Fiverr and hire somebody to make your app for you. That'll be good. It'll be a good experience for them.
I will pay you in podcast mentions.
Yes. It's good exposure points. Thanks, everybody. We love you. We'll see you next time on Horseshoes and Hand Grenades.
Bye.